the dots and an ISA. B with the dots and an ISA. B with the dots and an ISA. Be inspired. She got balls all over her body and was regarded as the ugliest. Wow. This is Be with the Dalton and ISA. Be inspired with stories from Africa, where values, passion, and environment comes to life. And this is your favorite host, Betty Osei-Bunsu. Today, we're on a topic, the forgotten stories. I know you are amazed, right? Yes. When I was young, my mother would always tell us values-filled stories that would enlighten us and groom us in a way to always think positive and appear positive and also be positive. She would come back from the market, sit us down, get her favorite dessert, which was bread and tea. She would sit down and start. Yes, as I was saying, when I was very young, we had this very beautiful damsel in our community. She was fair. If it was a Snow White story, I would say the first in the kingdom. But yes, this lady was beautiful, my mother would say. Everybody admired how beautiful she was. And men was always running after her and chasing after her. But surprisingly, the outward beauty didn't match her inner beauty. As much as she was beautiful, she had a very ugly attitude. Whenever she goes out into the community, men will always walk to her and say, "Hello, how are you doing?" And she would turn and tell them, "Who are you? Please leave me alone." And in our chairs, we would be like, "Okay, mommy, continue." And she would say, "Oh, you people like stories too much." Okay, and she would continue. She would always go out. When she goes out, men would chase after her. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. Until one day, she met a man. And this man called out to her and said, "Hello, beautiful damsel. How are you doing? I would love to take you out." And she looked at him and said, "Do I look like your caliber? Is something wrong with you? Do you think me, as I am looking so beautiful and precious, I can be someone that you would take out? Please go and find someone that looks like who you are." And the man looked at her and left. Values, they say, are what people use in shaping themselves, either positively or negatively. According to several reports, values have been used to modify tradition to be what it wants to be, to groom the child in the way him or her has to go. And these stories, whenever my mother tells me these stories, I'm like, okay, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But nowadays, these values, these stories are being lost in our communities. The forgotten stories. We find our parents no longer telling us the stories. We watch the TVs, we watch comics, we watch jokes, but they do no longer instill these moral values in us again. As we were saying on the story, this lady went home, still looking all damsel like if that was a word. She got home. The next morning, she stretched. Now let me look at how pretty I am looking in the mirror. She took the mirror. She looked into the mirror, and what she saw. What happened? boils all over. She didn't understand what happened to me. Her parent rushed into the room. What happened to you? Mommy, look at me! Look at how I look like! The parents roamed the entire universe looking for a cure for this young girl. Finally, they got to this. In the olden days, they would say spiritualist or herbalist or a soothsayer. When they got to the man told the lady, I know your problem. Unfortunately, nothing can be done about your problem. And the woman was like, tell us what happened. He said, your daughter insulted a spirit. Oh, and this is where we are all shivering. The man who walked up to her to introduce himself to her was a spirit. And through the insult she gave to the spirit decided to curse her. And this is not irrevocable. Saddened, the parents picked up the daughter, took her home and said, have you seen yourself? This is what you get when you feel like you are the best and nothing else can be compared to you. Or this is what you get when you feel like because of how beautiful you are, you can behave ugly to other people. This is what you get when you feel like the world revolves around you. And yes, this is where we begin to tell ourselves in the room, all the children, I'm going to treat people well. When I go out into the society, when people call me, I'll say, yes, I am Betty. And when they decide to toast me, I'll say, oh, I'm sorry. I am in a hurry. My mother has sent me a message. That's what most of us do nowadays. But yes, these are some moral stories that when they tell us, we become upright. We do things the right way. And since then, whenever I walk into the street and I see a man approach me and says, hello, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing well. And yourself? And the man says, I like you. I said, I've heard you. Can I get your number? I'm sorry, maybe next time. I know most people won't agree with me, but those are the stories that have brought up some of us to be who we are today. And I feel like our parents, whoever it is taking care of us, we shouldn't stop the stories. We should continue because they groom the child in a positive way. Sometimes it depends on the story. So yes, let us not forget our moral stories. Let us not forget our moral values. Let's keep them up because these are some of the things that grooms the child. I wouldn't blame our nowadays children who grow up with none of these stories and just behaves anyhow. But this is just a story my mother told me and I'm telling you. Yes, thank you very much for listening to another inspiring episode on the BISA platform. And this is your host, Betty Osei Bonsu. Next on our episode, we'll be hearing another sad story, but not so sad. On the topic, is disability a crime? I'm going to keep it a surprise for you on the person we'll be hearing from. I want you to stay tuned and don't forget to follow us on all our social media pages. On YouTube, it's Be Inspired with Stories from Africa. On LinkedIn, it's Be Inspired with Stories from Africa. And on Facebook, it's BISA with Betty. Yes. Once again, don't forget to press the subscribe button and follow us. Thank you. It's BISA.